Hey everyone, it's Ty Fisher with Rebuku. Welcome to Fridays Live with Ty. And today I have special guest Dale Manning of Manning Photography. Dale's been you've been with us about a year and a half now? 2 years?
Yes.
Yeah. Been a long time good client with Rebuku and wanted to share some of his business practices and learn more about him today. Dale, welcome to the channel.
Thank you, Ty.
Yes, sir. Tell us a little bit about your business. How long you've been in business, where you're located, what you specialize in.
We're located in the central part of Pennsylvania, just south of State College. We've been in business since 2006 and started out primarily weddings and families and senior portraits and things like that. And we got into the volume business around 2012-13, that time frame. And so primarily now we do all volume. We don't do weddings anymore. Special requests, sometimes we'll do one, but
Yeah.
Seniors, same thing. We just don't have the time to do the private sessions for seniors. Here and there we'll do one, but most of what we do is volume work, schools, school sports, and then leagues, travel teams, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And you said, so you made that switch around 2012, 2013. What was the pivot? What was the reason for you to start focusing or taking on the idea of volume?
It just happened, really. I mean, we were doing primarily seniors at the time in weddings. And the senior business is what kind of led us into the volume world, because we were known for our senior work. People liked our stuff, and we ended up connecting with a couple of administrators. We got a school. Once we got one school, then we got another school, and then it just kept going from there. So that's really how it happened. I don't want to say by accident, but it did happen where we were called in and said, hey, can you help us with our school pictures in our yearbook? We said, yes, we'll give it a shot here. And found out that was our niche, and we just built the business from there.
Okay. So 2012, 13, you started into the schools and sports. We're here at 2024. About how many schools and sports leagues are you servicing today?
Oh boy. We're doing, we have over 20 schools. We're in about 40 school buildings when we count out the buildings that we're in. So that's what we're in now. So not huge, but for us, just a mom and pop. It's my wife and I. We run the business with our team of mostly the people. We don't have any full-time employees. All of our people are freelance, so to speak. So that's who helps us on picture days when it comes to our schools, our leagues, all of that sort of thing. The leagues, I don't know how many leagues we're in, Ty. We're pretty busy. I'll tell you that. This is little league season right now, and I mean, it's not a minute that we have to spare.
Sure. That's these March, April, May, it's crazy time.
Yeah, and then trying to fit school sports pictures in there too. So with all of our schools, most of them have us do their team sports pictures. So a lot of that happens March, April around here, and then it goes right into the the league sports and dance schools and the things like that we do through April and May. So it's a race to the finish line of June, really.
Now, I know you do a lot of sports, as we said, and are you doing any traditional sports photography at this point, or are you all virtual team creation, graphic creation?
Yeah, for our schools, we primarily do traditional.
Okay.
They do prefer that. But what we found is, like, as an example here in Spring Sports March, we live in central Pennsylvania. It's really ugly out. It's cold. The wind is blowing. It's wet. It's just not really conducive to doing good outside traditional team pictures. So what we do is we'll shoot them to extract, but we bring them into our system with the traditional style that we do. So we have a format that we use with H&H that we use their templates, and people are used to that. So rather than it being shot outside, we're shooting it on our highlight. We're sending it to Rebuku. You guys are knocking it out, and then we're pulling it into H&H. So you're not building our teams there. You're just basically knocking out the individuals for us, and then we bring it into our template with H&H and process it that way, which
And
has
this
worked
is
out really well. Yeah, but I mean, if the weather's nice, then we try to do them outside. We'll set up a
Yeah.
regular traditional team photo. We'll do traditional individuals. It just really depends on the weather. So
Well, then with your sports leagues, I assume most of those are all virtual team creation.
100%.
creation.
Yeah, all of them. We don't do them outside for a million reasons. And, you know, we've had leagues ask us and we just say no. And then when they say, well, okay, we'll go a different direction. And that has happened once or twice, not too many times. Most of our leagues love the way that we do it. It just makes it so easy for them. We do them indoors. People can come and go to these sessions. If they don't make it to their team scheduled time, that's fine. They can come to our studio or come later during the session that we're there, and they can still be in the team picture. And it just works for busy families. I mean, I don't, you know, anymore with these kids. They're on multiple teams every season. So
Yeah.
Little League, they're on their club league or their rec league, and then they're also on a travel team or two. So and then they have brothers and sisters that are doing the same thing. So these parents are running left and right trying to get to everything that they need to get to. So picture time schedule isn't always on the top of the priority list. So they love being able to just come in whenever they want.
Yeah. So I assume there was a point in your sports league where you were shooting all traditional. Is that correct? And if so, when did you move to virtual?
We started doing virtual, I'm going to say 2017, 18-ish, somewhere in that time frame. And it was a blend. We were still offering traditional, but we were doing some virtual, and we were doing a lot of it on our own. And it takes a lot of time for a small company like ours to not only do all the shooting and the processing and everything else, but then to extract and put these teams together and all their individuals and the individual memory mates and everything that goes along with it. So that's why we got into outsourcing, and it just made sense to do that.
Yeah, I would say that was probably your most difficult barrier once you got into virtual, was just figuring out that workflow to make it efficient.
It was chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was trial by fire when I first started it as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it took some time to figure that all out, and then we got into outsourcing it, and we had a different vendor partner a while back, and we just looked for some alternatives, found you, and like I said, about a year and a half ago, we got with Robuku. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, and thank you for that. So I want to let the people know that Manning Photography is using us for their full sports creator creation with CSV data files, integrating into H&H Color Lab, which is another great partner of ours. What that entails is we build out all the teams, memory mates, individuals through the data management and the file processing. And this really allows Dale, in my vision of what that is, this allows Dale and his family and his team to carry on business moving forward, photographing versus being behind the computer. Would you agree that was the purpose of this?
I mean, yeah, it does still take some backroom workflow management on our end, but we would never, ever be able to handle the volume that we're doing now without you as a partner putting all these teams together. We just submitted a league, and in some parts of the world this is an average size. For us, this is a huge league. We had 75 teams, and we shot it last weekend, and we color corrected, called it down on our end, built the spreadsheet, and had it in Robuku's hands by Tuesday. Now, there was a time where we did this same process for this league, and we built all of the teams and did all of the individuals in-house here. And it took us, I'm telling you, a solid 40-hour week or more for my wife to do all that. It was insane. And that was the turning point for us. It was like, we got to figure out another way to do this. We cannot continue to do it this way. And that was even in that year, we shot the whole team on green screen and knocked the teams out. And then, did the individuals in-house and built all the memory mates and the individual pictures. And it was very tedious. So
Yeah, and if you get to that point where you need coloring and color correction done, we can do that for you. That is, obviously something.
but we use you for some of that. Yeah, not the calling. We haven't used you for calling, but you have color corrected a lot of work for us. So
yeah, but one thing I want to lean into with this is with people that are really starting to move into that volume. There's these options out there, and there's some great companies. There's a lot of AI, there's a lot of software. But you mentioned to it something like it took you one time 40 hours to build this league out. And I want to speak to that for a second, because through all the price data analysis work I've done from my end, being an ex-professional photographer and now a vendor to photographers, on average, it costs about $200 to $250 an hour for a photographer full-time to be behind a computer. So if you took those hours, you're into the $8,000 to $10,000, range of what that would cost a photographer, because that is time missed with other leagues moving forward. And so what I want to speak to is really the difference between software's AI and us. And I want you to understand, softwares and AI are good at making your existing business more efficient, but they will be very difficult to help you grow, because you still have to be behind the computer operating the tools.
Gotcha.
With companies like Rebuku and a few other companies out there, it's all hands off. You get rid of it, you go do your thing, we do our thing, we'll meet back in the middle. So I wanted to let some of the people that will be watching this out there understand the big difference between softwares and outsourcing to an actual company. Yeah. And so I'm sure you've seen that from your transition when you first started and you tried doing it on your own. You found softwares that were more efficient, and then you just found, look, this is not helping us grow. We've got to get rid of this so we can focus on what we do best.
Well, when we first started outsourcing, I'm not going to say that the softwares that were out there to enable us to do it in-house were really where they are today. That was 6 years or 7 years ago.
Light years ago.
I mean, I'm sure there's some things out there, but I have absolutely zero interest in looking at them. So, I mean, I know there are extraction softwares out there, and we do use them for some of the things that we do in-house, quick one-off stuff.
Sure.
When we're building our banners, we use an online software to knock them out. It's more efficient for Stacy to just run them through that, knock them out, and then she can build her banners. And that's one thing that we do in-house. We don't outsource the banner design for the most part, 99%. But we've had you do some things for us, but that's something that we customize every single one of those pieces. And it's time consuming, but again, it's our reputation. It's our brand.
You're adding that's building that relationship.
It's how we've grown our business. I mean, people see that work, and that's what makes our phone ring and why we get more leagues and more schools. So I 100% believe that her work with our banners is what's got us to where we are right now. So
good stuff. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about some of your pricing. Do you stay with a standard price point? Do you raise your prices during a fluctuation or a percentage per calendar year? How do you work that?
We haven't really changed our prices a whole lot in the past several years. We're redesigning our flyers this summer for next season, and we'll evaluate where we are, whether we need to bump some things, move some things around. We know we need to revamp, especially since we partnered with you. There are more things that we can offer on our flyer that we haven't been able to offer before, which is, pretty excited about that opportunity.
Yeah.
We didn't do it this past year. We just were working things out. So we didn't make the change last summer. We were only with you for a few months as of last summer. So we decided this year we're gutting it out. We're going to revamp it, and probably will bump our price a little bit since we haven't in, I'm going to say, 5 or 6 years. So,
okay.
maybe keep the pricing the same in terms of like the package amounts, but offering maybe a little less, a unit or two or something like that, so that it just changes the profitability on it. Some I haven't decided yet.
And would it be fair to say that you've been able to offset your cost of services specifically towards Rebuku? And obviously your print costs, those are obviously offset into your pricing. Is
Yeah,
that
sure.
Yeah. So I get that question a lot because people are like, well, this costs this much, this costs this much. And the one thing I want to urge new photographers, especially building a volume business, is you can't be penny wise. You've got to take whatever costs are and just offset it. Anything that we do for you should be of no cost to you. It should be only a cost that is offset to your client. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're building your volume business out there, that these are costs that are there, but you should easily be able to gain those costs back through your prints and products plus your profit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our team created, or how you say, when we have Rebuku build our teams, that we have two flyers, one specifically for like our leagues and that type of work, and one for our traditional. And it is slightly higher on the stuff that you guys designed.
Sure.
One of the things we're going to try to do is blend our forms. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I really would rather not have two flyers. I'd really rather have one sports flyer, period. I just have not figured out how to combine the two with the traditional sports flyer versus the stuff that we design. So,
Gotcha.
But at the end of the day, really, the stuff that we're doing with you does not cost us that much more, because we use H&H's templates, and the price per print on their templates is more than just a print. So an 8x10 that I print through something I have designed by Rebuku costs me, I'm going to say half. I'd have to look exactly, but close to half of the print cost of one that I'm using an H&H template. But we love their templates because it sets us apart. We're not just taking a traditional picture on the football field and that's all they're getting. They're getting something that has a border, a nice border around it with the kid's name on it, the year, things that I think set us apart from the local photographer, or any photographer, I shouldn't say local, but the photographer that's just taking photos out on the field and they're snapping the picture and then they're offering prints. We want ours to look, we've done this for years. This has been a thing we've done for the past, since we started doing sports. We've always had ours a step up with the borders and the design like that. So, and we pay more for it, but we know we've set that into our pricing. So it's already in there, built in.
Yeah. So one thing I want to go back to, you were talking about, you're going to start working on changing your prices this coming year and some new products, because you spoke about the transition, you'd been with us just a couple months. And that's something that's a really good point. When you first came on, there was a transition period, right? There was a time getting to know us and getting to know you. And if you could speak to that just for just a second to say, how long was that transition period for you? And
it was seamless. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I first thought about it, you and I had a lot of conversations and we had meetings, and you introduced me to your team and we discussed this transition and whether we were going to try it out. You know what I mean? We had talked about that. Okay, well, we'll give you a trial run and we'll see how it goes. We went in 2 feet deep and just went straight for it with you guys after we had our talks, and it went without a hitch. In fact, it was an extremely smooth transition, and in fact, it just improved our backroom workflow incredibly when we got with you guys. Just the way that we do things and how you guys do things, it just worked perfect, and we never looked back.
Well, thank you. That's always good to hear. But one thing I like to tell new clients that are looking to do this, I kind of liken this to a marriage. This is all about consistency and communication. And the more consistent the work is that's coming in, and the more communication there is between both parties, the better that relationship works out. When we have some customers that want to send one job in the spring that's 100 teams, and we haven't done work for them for 9 or 10 months, it's almost like we have to retool ourselves a little bit because there's just not a consistency there. And so, I think you said it really well. You went in 2 feet deep. And that's what I would really recommend the best process is for people, is just to say, let's go in, especially if you're looking to gear up for fall. I think you and I started meetings during the slow time, during that December, January. I think it was after Summit, even February. Started getting that process in place so that we could get you tooled up for the spring. And so think about that as you're potentially thinking about outsourcing. Set up your times in January, February for your spring season, and June, July for your fall season. Those are the times to be retooling your workflows and really figuring out how you want to attack that volume season.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's exactly what we did, and it worked out really well. And we've been really thankful for you guys. One thing that we tried to make transparent to you, and we do with all our customers, we want you to know our team. We want you to know Prakash, Mark, Max, Boomy, everybody in our company, because we're proud of them. Yes, our company's based in India, but that's an advantage to a lot of customers because we're 10.5 hours ahead of you. So you get your stuff back usually in the middle of the night or early morning. So there's quite an advantage to that process, but we don't hide our employees. It's a fully employee-owned company. We don't outsource. We have an incredible team that we're very proud of, and we love for our clients to get to know them. And you and Prakash have built a pretty good relationship along the way.
We're having dinner one day, guaranteed.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Well, no. So on the lines of turnaround time you had mentioned there, which triggered a thought with me, the one. When we made our transition and came on board with you guys, that probably the most notable piece of that was our overall turnaround time to our league. So from the point of time that we shook hands at the end of the session with them and we delivered them the final product, I'm going to say it cut that almost in half in terms of them signing off on proofs and us ordering the product. It was an amazing. It really has helped our business a lot to be able to provide our customers with that kind of a turnaround, where in previous situations it was not as fast, both with outsourcing and when we were doing it in-house. So,
well, I'm glad we've been able to alleviate those turnaround times. That's our goal, and we're adding to. We've built up our design team for the spring and this coming fall. We've added a new order validation team.
Yeah, I've gotten to know them. They're great.
They're fantastic.
I mean, I send them images in a spreadsheet, and I'm telling you, within like an hour, they're emailing me and saying, "Mr. Manning, you have some discrepancies on your CSV." Oh, cool. Boom, boom, boom. I send it right back, and off and running they go. So it's been pretty slick.
They've made a huge difference in our team because it's taken all that validation of data away from our design team and allowed them to do what they do.
So before they even get to the extraction point, your guys are taking a look and making sure everything matches up, and then it goes.
Yeah, Karthik and Indrajan, who I'm going to formally introduce here in the spring, summer.
Yeah, I've seen those names on the email. Yeah,
they're great guys. They're smart, very smart, and very detailed. So they've been a great addition for our order validation team.
Yeah, that big league I just mentioned. We sent it in yesterday, and yesterday afternoon they were emailing me and saying we need more information on these files, and that just like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, it's great to get you prepped. We want to make sure that we let you know quickly, so we're not delaying things for you.
Yeah.
And it's been a blessing. I'm really proud of how that department has kind of reshaped things for us. So we're going to be adding a couple more people to that team as well.
Good.
So we just want to keep making sure we realize your time is literally of the essence. The fact you're even doing this webinar with me in the morning and the first of May, I'm just thankful for, because I know you're a busy man. So, our mindset as owners and as management is, hey, our customers' time is precious. Let's
Mhm.
figure out as much as we can continue to do to make that as efficient as possible for them. So,
Appreciate it.
yeah, yeah.
You guys are nailing it.
So, as a photographer,
Mhm.
what three tips could you provide to new or intermediate photographers looking to get into or grow their volume business? What would you say are three things that are core that people really need to focus on?
Well, instead of location, 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 I'd say Rabuku, Rabuku, Rabuku. No. Uh, yeah, I mean, three things for people to grow their business. I'd say, key reputation management. Focusing on your business and making sure that you're servicing your customers 100%. You just have to be there, not only just for your administration and your organization key contacts, but all of the families, the people that call. I mean, our phone rings regularly with customers that have questions. It could be a question about how to order. I need an access code. I need this information, or they had an order concern that needs to be resolved. You just have to respond quickly. And what that means for us, we're a small business. My voicemail says we're open from 9 to 5. Well, that's not really true, because
Sure.
I'll get emails at 9 or 10 at night and I'm responding to them. It's a Sunday at, before church time, and people are calling our office. I mean, and we're answering the phone. I don't know why I do this to myself, but we do. We pick up the phone because we know we're going to answer it anyway. And people really appreciate that. And I think
Yeah.
it's what, people like the fact that we're a family owned business and we're growing as a result of that. That word's getting out there. But showcasing your work and finding ways to get it out in front of people. We use Facebook, there's other ways to do it, but the parents and the administrators are all on Facebook. I don't know how many of them are doing TikTok and Instagram and other media, but Facebook works for us, and we like to showcase our work on our page, and that gets people's attention and makes our phone ring. And I guess I need a third one there. I would say just work hard, relationships. Yeah, that's it. Just, focus on relationships, continue to build them with your current customers, and ask for more. Ask them if they know anyone. We don't do a lot of sales. I don't have time to go knocking on doors, to be honest with you. We just,
So, you touched one of those points I think is probably the most important was customer service.
Mhm.
I feel like it is a lost art in any business. Don't care what size the business is. But I mean, I think I can relate and you can relate. My biggest growth in business has always been word of mouth. You know,
It's old school, but I think word of mouth it comes from having a good reputation, and you want people saying good things about you out there. So, one negative thing can spread like wildfire. All you got to do is have one parent be ticked off at you because their kid's name was spelled wrong, and you didn't call them back when they called and wanted you to fix their error, and you let that hang. I mean, that can spread like wildfire.
yeah, and in our case, it could be a photography client where we've made mistakes and we didn't know about it, and we find out in Facebook or something, and I try to chase those down because truthfully, we believe a complaint is a gift. If you let us know, we can fix it. If we don't know, we don't know. And
Yeah.
so we never get offended by anyone that's had an issue or a problem. We want to fix that for you. But getting back to the point, customer service to me, I don't care how big of a company, how small of a company you are, the better your customer service is, to me, the further your company will grow and continue to grow because it's developing relationships that you may not even be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what I was trying to get at there. So,
have you seen many changes in your business over the last, I don't know, couple of years that you've really had to adjust, or is things pretty well smooth sailing for you?
pretty smooth sailing. I mean, just growth. I mean, we're trying to manage the growth pains. We've really grown a lot in the past few years, and we're continuing. We got, at this point, we have we have 3 new full school districts, and then a couple of additional buildings at some school districts where we weren't handling the whole thing. So, and these are not small schools. So we're pretty excited about that and trying to figure out how we're going to manage through the months of August and September and October with our team. But we're growing our team. We're hiring more people, and that's really what it's all about. So we're excited about it. It's going to be a whole new challenge for us this fall, and that's really the big change in our business.
And during your busy season, how big does that team get for?
Well, we have probably, I'm going to say, let's see, about 10 to 12 people that freelance for us. Everyone does different things. We have some people that are doing freelance sports action to fulfill our yearbook obligations. I've got several of those guys that are out there doing that. And then our school team, they're mostly photographers, Ty. They have their own businesses and they do photography. They do weddings, family portraits, mini sessions, all that kind of thing. And they like working for me because I give them something different to do. They get to do volume work, and at times when they don't have other sessions. So most of them are not doing family sessions at 6:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. So where it's tricky for us is those same people also have families, and when we're into our spring busy season, like Little League season, trying to schedule people is very difficult. They have kids running everywhere, and it's trying to get them in that's a challenge. For
Sure.
Evening work, evening and weekends is tough. School picture times, everybody want to work, so I don't have a lot of trouble filling those slots. It's the other stuff. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer here. I want to end on a question I like to end with, and is
Okay.
if you had a crystal ball and could see into the future, what do you feel the future of the photography industry is from your perspective?
Oh boy, I mean, that's a very loaded question, Ty.
I know.
I don't think I have an answer for that one. A crystal ball. Geez, wouldn't it be great to have a crystal ball, to see the future? I mean, it's obviously evolving. I still feel like, there's a lot of things changing in the industry, but people still want pictures and they still want photos of their kids. And as much as there's, easy access for them with their iPhones and all this other technology out there that they can snap all their own photos and do all this, they still want a really cool, professionally designed image of their kid. And I don't think that's going to change much. So I think in terms of the longevity of our careers, I think there's plenty of opportunities, and it's just going to continue to get better. So.
Amen. I agree to that. I almost want to liken it to ignorance is bliss. If we actually kind of let go of everything that's happening around us and just literally didn't know about it and just focused on what we do, we'd probably have a lifelong career. But, all these external factors, they get into your head. They make you start to pose questions like, is this viable? How long am I going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
And they're just questions that really don't need to be answered at this point. If you just focus on what you do well, I think there is a longevity here. And there, this industry has faced film to digital, which was a huge shift, and it's still rolling along. And the companies that adapted and did well, they did great. So we're all just adapting as humans. Change is good, right?
Absolutely. Just got to roll with it and be willing to change with the changes.
Yeah.
But you guys have been great, Ty. I mean, I'll tell you, this transition for us and having you take care of all of our leagues and teams has just been super for us. The communication from your team is really the biggest difference. Just the regular, just your team's on top of it. I mean, I'll give you an example. I had a league that I was working on. They had sent me, one of those e-order validation groups sent me a list. Hey, there's these 10 images. You need to tell us where they go. It got buried in my email and I forgot about it. And Prakash sent me a message today. He says, hey, we're waiting for a response from you on this. And it's like, oh, I guess that's why I haven't seen a proof on that job. So, but I mean, it's just that kind of thing that the relationship, the partnership there has just been amazing. So
Relationships number one. You know, my good friend, your friend, and what I consider a mentor to me when I first started transitioning from photography into this business, David Drum. And he
uh,
taught me how important relationship is, and
yeah, absolutely.
how to treat others, how you want to be treated, and it's always been a part of me from that conversation. So
They've been a great partner for us. I can tell you that H&H Color Lab is, you know, I don't know where we would be without them. They've been an amazing partner.
sure, yeah. Well, Dale, I wish you a much successful May. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you taking time out this morning to be on this with me. Hope you have a great summer as well and get to relax. And
Yeah,
anything
maybe a
we
little
can,
bit.
anything we can do, my friend, we're here for you.
I know it. It's been the thing with you guys. I mean, I know you're a phone call away or an email away, and same with your team. So anything that needs to be talked through happens immediately. So, hey, Ty.